Right, good day people. Got a nice surprise for everyone here today. I've already posted information about this on my Facebook page and I'm now going to show you what it is. We're into that faded yellow Gibson SG Special. Very nice, isn't it? Now, this one's battered and bruised, but we don't worry about things like that here. We love stuff like that. I've got a few battered and bruised guitars myself, being my year 2000 Les Paul Studio, Gibson of course. I've got my Kramer, 83 Kramer, and I've got my 2005 PV Explorer. All battered and bruised, but all play exceptionally well. I'm sure this guitar is no exception to that. So what do I know about this guitar? Well, not a lot. I've been looking online, there's not a lot of information, but looking at the serial number, it's an 8-digit serial number, so if it's an 8-digit, we know digits 1 and digits 5 pertain to the year. So we're looking at 02850511, which gives us the year 2000. The 511 number at the end is the batch number or the run number. We'll always discount the first 300 if we go over 500. So it tells us this is guitar number 211. So I imagine it's 211, number 211 that month. First three numbers, well, first four numbers, 0285, well, no zeros a year, but 285 will pertain to the amount of days in the year this was produced. So 285th day will give us, bear with, I've had to do some digging. 285th day of that year 2000 was October the 11th. So this guitar was made on October the 11th in the year 2000 and it's run number 211. So it's the 211th guitar that month. So what else could I tell you about this? Right, well, I've looked online and all the ones I can find have got silver hardware. I can't find much information on them apart from pickups. 496, is it 496 or 4, it might be a 490R and a 490T is what I found out. Found that a bit hard to believe if they're a really old one, like 17 years old. So I'm going to have these pickups out and I'm going to have a look and I'll come back and let you know what they are later. Control plate, I've not had a look yet. Regarding hardware, all the ones I've found online have got chrome hardware. Well, this hasn't. And I also know the tuners have been changed out. Why do I know that? Well, one giveaway is the tuners are chrome, but the bolts, or the nuts holding them on, or the guide bushers are gold. Another reason I know they're not original is they've got a name on the back. And the Gotoh locking tuners. So there you go. So we know they're not original. Also, all the hardware, we've got DiMarzio locking strap on there. Look at the other hardware. It's all gold. Gold, 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 gold. So this came with gold hardware. It's got gold screws, so it came with gold hardware. So I would say, just because it's a special doesn't mean it's a cheaper edition. Now, a lot of modern specials are normally the cheaper edition. I don't think this is. It's got an ebony fingerboard. Ebony fingerboard, gold hardware. That points to this guitar being a very, very good guitar back in its day. Year 2000, so it's 17-year-old. So why is this in? Well, it's in because the frets need some fettling. They're all worn down here. I went round to the owners yesterday to pick the guitar up and I had a look at it and I says, right, I'll be straight with you. I say straight away it wants a fret level. But truth be told, your frets are, we're about a millimetre low, under a millimetre. If I've fettled with them, we're going down to about 0.8, which is the lowest you want to go. It says, it might pay you, right, to go and have a refret. He says, because it's never had nothing done. I says, you might pay to have a refret, so why don't you think about it? So we talked about it, and I said, oh, we'll do a fret level, and I'll do a set up, and we discuss what we're going to do, how we're going to go about it. And I said, think about a refret. Anyway, on my way home, he texted me, he says, we might as well go for a refret on that. So he's going for a refret. So I said, what I'll do is I'll go home, I'll measure the frets, see what kind of frets we want. And what we're going to do is, you'll find this is 12% nickel silver, which is not that hard wearing. But say it's a 17-year-old guitar, there's not as much wear as you'd have thought. There is a lot of wear down these middle frets and these end frets here actually. I don't know if you can see that. I'll hold the guitar up to you, maybe you can zoom in and have a look and blah, 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 blah. You decide. I said we might get away with fret level, but I'll have a look when I get back. But I would actually prefer to be doing a refret on this. Anyway, he agreed. He's got back to me, says do a refret. So we're going to go over refret. So I've gone and measured the frets. I've had my calipers on there. Now, the thing is with worn frets, they tend to flatten out. These frets, width-wise, measure anything between 2.3 and 2.5 millimeters. So I've decided we're going to go with a medium jumbo. I would be recommending something round about 2.7 millimeters wide and 1.2 millimeters high. So that is going to be my recommendation to the owner. I'm going to get back to him. I'm going to say I recommend that. A good thing about that is also I've got that in stock, and I've got some really, really good gear in stock. I've got the Boston gear. Is it Boston, the label? I think it is. I can't remember its symptoms. It's Boston. It is Boston brand. Bear with. I'll come back to you. We'll have a look. There you go. That's the one we've got. I've actually got this in stock. Boston brand. It's great gear. It's 18% nickel silver. Now your regular's 12%. So this sits somewhere between the strength and hardness of regular 12% fret wire, which was on Gibson's anyway, and stainless steel. I've used this before. I've started using this on Mike Newman's guitars and he absolutely loves it. So the size of this one, it's really quite high. So it's 1.4mm high, 2.7mm wide. The width I'm happy with, the tang I'm happy with. The height could be a little bit of a problem, might be a little bit too high. What I'm going to do is, we'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I'm going to recommend we use this, and if I have to, when I level the frets off, I'll level them down to 1.2mm. And that in the future, 10, 15 years down the line, if we need the frets looking at again, we're going to get at least 1 or 2 fret level skims across the top. So it's going to slightly alter the action to the guitar. Is giving me this nut, which I can't remember what I said it was called. It's compensated for the G string here on this end there, and it's sort of I'll show you how it goes. I can't remember what I said it was called. I don't really pay much attention to that kind of gear, but it sits like that. Can you see where we are with that? And it sits over. So we're going to try and install that and get on with that. Whether it needs the shim underneath or not, I don't know. The radius looks right. It wants to be about 12-inch radius, so you know, I think that's going to be all right. We'll get away with that without the shim. I'm going to take the shim out completely. I'm not going to use it. That should just sit in there perfect. So if we need to adjust a little bit, we can. So I'm going to go with that. I'll find out what that's called in a minute. And when I do the next part of the video, I will come back with more information. So what I'm going to do today is, well, the guitar, like I say, it's a bit battered. It's got a nice big chunk out there on that corner. It's got some dings and dongs and nicks and flicks and all sorts all over it. But it's a solid weighter guitar. A lovely piece of mahogany there, I imagine. So anyway, I'm going to get the back cavity off. I'm going to have a look in there, see what pots will go in there. I know they're going to be CTS pots. You're probably going to have some, might have some cheap capacitors in there. But if it plays all right, it plays all right. I'm going to go into the case it came in, look at the hardware that came with it. And I'm going to get back to the owner. I'm going to get back to him right now, actually. I'm going to send him a text, send him an email. And I'm going to say, right, this is what I recommend we do. All in all, fine guitar, ebony fingerboard, you can't go wrong. Because it's an ebony fingerboard though, it puts the price of a refret up a bit, because we always tend to get a bit of chipping with an ebony fingerboard. We can't avoid it, even if we heat treat the frets to get them out, which I'm going to do anyway. But to compensate for a little bit of chipping we're going to get, I always go with a wider fret when I reinsert new frets. So these are 2.5, I say we're about 2.4, 2.5 wide. I'm going to go with a 2.7 wide, just that little bit of extra width, just to give us more stability in there, and it covers up any chips we might have. Saying that, any chips we do get anyway, I always do fill them in as a matter of course. I think you know the story. You've only got to check my old videos, check my refrets in the past. So that's it. It's where I'm going to be with that. It is a year 2000 Gibson SG Special, so some nice upgrades. I'm going to strip it, have a look at the hardware inside, have a look at the bridge and tailpiece. We're going to check pickups, find out what they are, check the electrics, and I will come back with an update in the meantime sometime. Shouldn't be too long, so I'll see you again soon. Right, we're back. Find out a little bit more information on the guitar. Obviously, I forgot to mention last time, it was built at the Nashville plant, Tennessee. So there you go. Right, what have I found out? Well, I've had the back cavity off and I've had the pickup cavity off. Pickups, got no ID on there at all. It just says Gibson Pickups USA. That's all it says. So I'm going to assume that what they say they are online, with 490 pickups, you've got an R and a T version, R in the neck, T in the bridge. If you know any other information, I'm sure you can let me know in the video, so you can let me know. Capacitors in there, just regular little cheap capacitors. Now a lot of people say capacitors don't make a difference. I beg to differ, because I upgraded my crappy little ceramic capacitors in my 2000 Les Paul Studio, and I put Mullard mustard caps in there from a new old stock from the 60s, and they made a vast difference to my tone on there. So people saying a value is a value. If it's 0.022, it's 0.022. That's as may be. But I'm saying in my experience, we do change the tone. So there you go. I'm not going to get into an argument about that, and I don't really care, to be honest with you. The Mullard mustards in my Les Paul made a difference, and it sounds great now. So that's it, that's where we are. So it's got regular Gibson pots in there, it's just Gibson stamped. Well, Gibson stamped pots, you can more or less guarantee they're going to be made by CTS. There you go, nothing out of the ordinary there. Wiring, standard pickup wiring, braided wire, cloth wire in there as well. So all standard. So that's it. I found out something about the nut that we're going on there. According to the packaging, it's an Earvarner, a Gibson style shelf nut. Here you go. You can read the pack yourself if you want. A Gibson style shelf nut, and I'll show you why it's called a shelf nut. It's got a shelf on it, like so. Blah 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 blah. And the G string is compensated for the sake of one string. I already know that your B string is going to be out of tune, and you can never get your B string in perfect tune anyway, because your first fret is a little bit too far forward, it needs to go a little bit back. So if you're going to do anything, you're going to change your fret on the B string, not the G. But some people say it makes a difference, so who am I to argue? Myself, I'd have just stuck a regular nut on there, just to make it look nice, you know, make it look normal. But anyway, that's the way it goes. So where we are with this guitar. I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. I've talked to the owner. We've agreed to go with the Boston fret wire, 2.7mm wide, 1.4mm high, of which I'll skim 0.2mm off the top, bring it down to 1.2. We'll give them all a nice crown and a polish. To remove the frets, I'm going to use my adapted soldering iron that fits over the shape of the frets, and we'll remove them one by one. We'll remove them really, really carefully, because ebonite does tend to chip and crack if you just oink the frets out. So we've got to take a bit of time on there. It's worth spending an hour or two getting them out, because it means less repairs later on. I recently did a Takamine ebony board on a Takamine acoustic guitar, and I spent that much time taking them out. I'm really careful. I hardly had to repair any chips, which saves a lot of time in the long run. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's it. Talked with the owner, we've talked about everything. We're going to set it, he's always even sent some strings up, nice big fat 1156s on there, so we'll set them up as well. Means we'll have to carve the nut a little bit, make it for the wider strings. That's no problem. I've already said I'm going to do the nut, so that's it. I'm going to get refretted. I'm going to wind this part of the video up. This is going to wind up part one. In part two, we're going to come back and I'm going to do all the manual work I'm going to be doing is going to be more or less in part two. I'm not going to go super in depth showing the work, because I do that many refrets. One, I don't have time, because video takes a long time to process, it takes a long time to record, and it takes a long time to upload. I don't need to film everything. I'll just come back at various stages of the project I'm doing, and we'll just give little updates here and there. So I'm going to wrap up part one now, and going to get this guitar prepped, ready, and I'm going to get it done. But I'm not going to do it now, I'm not going to do it tomorrow, I'm not going to do it early next week. I'm going to start on it late next week. So really, until there's an update, as always, I'm going to tell you all to be good to each other, and I mean be good to each other, because I am watching. Just saying. No, be good to each other, and I will see you soon.